only 4 corn types grow across all 50 U.S. states, they yield a surprising 16 everyday products. The U.S. surpassed China as the world's top corn producer, with 346.7 million tons in 2023, thanks to advanced farming tech. Sweet corn is likely the most familiar type, known for its high sugar content and delicious sweetness. Mechanical harvesting is common, using either self-propelled or tractor-pulled harvesters. Florida, Oregon, and California lead in sweet corn production, jointly harvesting 13.6 tons in 2022. Sweet corn is typically harvested when the kernels are still young and tender. The harvester cuts the ear-bearing stalk, with ears later removed by machine or hand. In Florida, sweet corn is grown on over 37,000 acres, with harvest lasting from October to June. Harvest timing varies among farmers due to elevation differences across the state, affecting planting schedules. Some states prefer hand harvesting sweet corn, allowing for more precise selection of marketable ears. This harvesting method is common on corn farms in Florida, California, and Georgia. Field sorting reduces packaging waste, enabling a quicker transition to the cooling process. Harvested ears can be sent to packing facilities or packed directly in the field. The corn's sugars and tenderness start to decline once the ears are removed from the stalk. To preserve quality, farmers quickly cool harvested sweet corn to about 32 degrees Fahrenheit right after harvest. Hydro-cooling, using water to keep it cold, is often used to keep the corn fresh for up to 2 weeks. While sweet corn is just 1% of Essequibo's corn crops, popcorn reigns supreme as a popular variety. Popcorn looks skinnier than regular corn. With a hard shell and soft, moist center, popcorn pops when heated to 400 to 460 degrees Fahrenheit. The moisture inside turns to steam, making the kernel expand. In factories, freshly popped popcorn is seasoned to taste. Popcorn's popularity is clear, with over 232 million Americans enjoying this snack in 2020. That's about 14 billion liters of popcorn consumed each year. To meet this huge demand, popcorn is mainly harvested using combine harvesters. These powerful machines allow farmers to harvest corn day and night. Equipped with a corn head, the harvester separates the ears from the stalks. Ears feed into the machine, where kernels are shelled and cobs are ejected. Shelled kernels are then moved to storage bins, air-dried to 14% moisture, ideal for popping. Sometimes, popcorn is harvested on the cob using a corn picker, keeping kernels intact. The corn then dries on the cob, and kernels are removed later. To ensure good popping, kernels are sorted to remove smaller ones. Nebraska was the top popcorn producer, but Indiana took the lead with 97,000 acres in 2021. However, popcorn isn't actually a variety of corn. It's part of the flint or Indian corn family, coming in red, blue, purple, yellow, and white. While sweet and field corn have different uses, What corn is the base for the Mexican staple, tortillas? Welcome to Iowa, the land of cornmeal. This state produced 2.3 billion bushels of corn in 2020, about 16.19% of total U.S. production. Today, the U.S. is the world's top corn producer, using 96 million acres for corn and exporting 38% of global corn exports. Before milling, harvested grains are typically dried in silos until they reach about 15% moisture content. These dried kernels undergo cleaning and sorting, passing through screens to separate them by size and quality. Then, the clean kernels are ground into a fine powder using a series of rollers or mills. The ground material is sifted to separate the flour from larger particles and bran. Finally, corn flour is bagged to prevent contamination and maintain freshness. In this Korean corn snack factory, corn flour is steamed and pressed into a thin, long sheet. A machine then cuts it into strips, which are fried in this automated fryer. The fried corn strips are seasoned, cooled, and then packaged. Corn flour is often used as a gluten-free alternative to wheat flour. So far, we've explored corn as a food source. But what about the corn farmers plant for future crops? That's where seed corn or field corn comes in. As the most grown corn in the U.S., seed corn covers 90 million acres and is common along highways. Manual pickers can't match these harvesters, which cover 10 acres or 300,000 ears per hour. The harvested corn is then transported to processing facilities to prep for the next planting season. Dent corn, a common type, is named for the dimple that forms on each kernel as it dries. It's mainly used for cattle feed and cornmeal, a southern staple often used in grits and hush puppies. For cattle feed, farmers harvest the entire corn plant including stalks, leaves, and ears. These tasks would be time-consuming if done manually. So many U.S. farmers use huge harvesters that cut 20 rows at once. Next, they ferment in silos to create corn stalk silage. Corn farmers also earn from corn cob mix sales. These feeds, worth about $61 per ton, provide key nutrients for cattle and sheep. Corn seeds are also processed to make corn oil. It takes about 2.5 to 3 pounds of corn to make 1 quart of oil. The refined oil is filtered and packaged for sale. Corn oil is a healthy, affordable fat that can handle high heat without breaking down. Corn is also used to make ethanol, a fuel additive or standalone fuel source. This renewable energy, reducing emissions, is a key product from corn plants. For a unique drink, there's corn whiskey, also known as bourbon or rye. Corn is ground and fermented to make a mash. This liquid is then distilled to increase alcohol content. The final product is corn whiskey, aged in oak barrels to impart flavor and color. Bourbon's a popular choice for cocktails and loved by whiskey enthusiasts. Can you guess what these farmers are about to harvest? They've been here since early morning with long ladders. Bingo! It's cherries. Each person uses a small basket that holds about 25 kilos of cherries. After filling the small basket, workers go to weigh and transfer cherries to a larger container. Each of these boxes pays 75 undra. It usually fills up after about 1 hour and 45 minutes of picking. Though workers pick quickly, they use techniques to avoid damaging branches or fruit. Picked cherries keep stems for freshness, and farmers remove all leaves. After filling a large silo, the manager scans the picker's label to record the number of silos harvested. The harvested boxes are then taken off the cherry farm and briefly washed to cool before transport to the packing unit. Washington is the top cherry-producing state in the US, accounting for over 50% of the country's cherries. Some farms use cherry shakers for faster harvesting. The harvester wraps the trunk, gently shaking the star-shaped tree evenly, rather than just back and forth. Cherries fall onto a tarp, then go to water tanks, holding 1,000 pounds to keep them fresh. Did you know August is the month for super sweet melons? Early in the season, melons aren't fully ripe, so farmers go to fields with bags to carefully pick the sweetest ones. At another farm, workers harvest melons in small boxes and load them onto a large truck. These early melons are often sold at local farmers' markets due to limited quantity and imperfect sweetness. A few weeks later, typically in August, the main harvest kicks off. Farms hire more workers and use machines to ensure ripe melons are quickly packaged. Workers use small knives to cut vines and harvest each melon individually. Melons are then tossed onto ramps and bounced onto a conveyor belt, taking them to the harvester. Some farms that sell locally have packing lines set up right in the fields. Packers sort melons by size and carefully place each one into a box. Each melon and box is labeled with a mandatory traceability code. California farms, the top melon producer, pack melons in facilities for nationwide distribution. Planted in early March, melon seeds take about 90 days to mature. Multi-gen, US melon farms like this 111-year-old one have perfected growing methods, yielding extra sweet melons. All melon boxes are stored at 36 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit to extend shelf life beyond 3 weeks. Pumpkins are autumn icons because early September marks their harvest time. Teams of 20-30 farmers inspect each pumpkin, cutting stems with large shears. Harvest-ready pumpkins are lined up straight, prepping for the main harvest day. Pumpkins can ripen and turn orange post-cutting, so farmers harvest those too. They harvest about 20,000 pumpkins daily. Each pumpkin can weigh up to 50 pounds, giving farmers quite the workout. To boost efficiency, many large farms now use pumpkin harvesting machines. These machines can harvest 4 rows of pumpkins at once. Quality pumpkins are stored at 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit for 10-14 days, allowing skin to harden and stem cuts to heal. Afterward, they're thoroughly washed. They're then taken to pumpkin patches for people to buy as Halloween nears. In fact, pumpkins can be stored for up to a year. Rotting pumpkins left in the field are lined up by a machine. Another machine grinds each row, turning pumpkins into fertilizer and collecting seeds for next season. Farewell to the orange pumpkin fields. Say hello to Iowa's golden cornfields. For large-scale corn seed production, corn is harvested mechanically. This harvester covers 6 acres per hour, about 900 bushels. Did you know these cornfields also house many wild pigs? Watching for wild pigs damaging crops is crucial during harvest. In peak season, large U.S. farms run multiple harvesters simultaneously. They combine cutting, husking, and collecting, boosting efficiency. The U.S. remains the top corn exporter, selling to Mexico, China, and Japan. Now let's check out the sweet corn fields. Small-scale and fresh sweet corn farms often still harvest by hand. Over 120 workers harvest this 300-acre field, earning about $15 hourly. Harvesting's done at night if it's too hot during the day. Iowa leads U.S. corn production, with 90% of its farmland growing this crop. Are you a pickle fan? Pickling cucumbers are usually harvested 50 to 60 days after planting. In Iowa, about 100 workers are needed to efficiently harvest 1 acre. They may pick cucumbers twice daily for 25-30 days based on variety and conditions. Workers typically wear gloves during the manual harvesting process. Each worker can harvest about 1 to 1.5 tons per day. On large farms in Michigan and Florida, machines can harvest 3 acres per hour. Average U.S. open field yields can reach about 3 to 15 tons per acre. These harvesters effectively remove leaves and vines while gently separating fruits from the plant. Farmers here use harvesting machines as they produce 450 million pounds of cucumbers yearly, 63% of Iowa's cucumber output. Some mechanical harvesters have grading systems to sort cucumbers by size, color, and other quality factors. They can also return spoiled cucumbers for decomposition. This is what happens on a cabbage farm on harvest day. During harvest, workers cut outer leaves and place cabbages on a conveyor belt. In 2022, Iowa produced 22 million tons of cabbage, with California accounting for 7.1 million. But many large commercial farms have switched to modern harvesters in recent years. This is a green cabbage harvesting machine. It takes 3 workers to cut leaves and arrange them in wooden crates. These machines save labor and have foam pads to protect cabbages from bruising and damage. This red cabbage farm only needs 2 harvesters as they use a box harvester.